At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vibraville. Got a special one today. We are so close to that lift off. Bitcoin hopefully is about to make a new all-time high, and then it's go time for all these altcoins. So hopefully you got all your bags packed. We've been talking about it for almost 2 years now in this bear market, drilling the same stuff in. But in the last couple months, some stuff in the Titan X ecosystem has really been catching my eye. And Donovan too. I know he's been into some new coins, Ejective, new ecosystems. He's always bridging around. What's up, bro?
It's good to be here, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always good to connect.
Yeah, bro, definitely is. And this is the time where, we're right at that go time. Bitcoin is sitting right around 63-ish. Once we break 70, 75, man, I think these alts are going to run so hard and then just crash even harder.
No, that's kind of what I was saying in my last live stream was like, this cycle's fun and we have all the opportunities at making like truly life-changing gains. I've been in crypto since all the way back in early 2016. So I got to have the opportunity of watching the entire 2017 cycle from the ground up, because that was when I was learning technical analysis. So I was just studying charts the whole way. And then in the last cycle, I had the opportunity of being like positioned, making my YouTube channel in the 2018 bear market, because like I knew what was coming and I wanted to be able to bring as many other people with me to just making this life-changing gains. Now, last cycle was awesome. It wasn't nearly as big as 2017. And you really wouldn't know unless you were all the way back there at that point. But with this cycle, everything is perfectly lining up. You have like every catalyst we've always looked for as crypto investors kind of playing out in the same ways. Institutions are here. On top of that, we're not in the middle of a global pandemic, and so we don't have to worry quite as much about, all of this fear in the market. We have the opportunity of seeing stock markets at the new all-time high, similar to 2017. But then at the same time, having all of these new developments in crypto, like we have ways to actually trade value cross-chain, do a lot of fun stuff that we didn't used to be able to do. In the last cycle, we had DeFi finally come on scene. So people were using DEXs for the first time. We've gone so much further past that, I think that this cycle has every opportunity to be the biggest one ever. I've kind of leaned towards it being like 2017 and probably being bigger just because of the fact that we have true institutional adoption for the first time. Now, certain altcoins, that are already worth tens of billions of dollars, it's not like they're going to do a 2017 type run and do 1,000x. That's unrealistic. But there's so many new ecosystems, there's new altcoins, there's new projects across the board that don't have that same type of valuation that are going to end up seeing those type of gains. And so I'm just really excited to be trading it, really excited to be talking about it with you, because I know that you've got a lot of good picks, a lot of good information to share. And so, yeah, man, this is all going to be a really fun year. I think 2025 is going to be big. But like you said, the crash after is going to be really gnarly. So you got to make sure you're taking your profits, because you don't want to hold through that one.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And it's as tough as this bear market's been. It feels like it's gone on for so long. You can't. It doesn't feel like a 2017 style bull market can ever happen again. We're so used to just everything being down and suppressed that once things start running, it happens really fast. No one knows when it's going to happen. So you just have to be in it. And all the alpha pretty much is just being early to projects. That's it. Finding a narrative and just being early and having that conviction and holding. Yep. And I've seen it now, multiple cycles. People that have done the best that I know personally made the least amount of moves. They literally bought, went in hard and just held and closed their stuff down and came back a year and a half later. And after physically seeing people do that, it was like, okay, last cycle I was a maniac. Oh my God, what's this? I got to switch into this. This is down today. And I got wrecked. I didn't get wrecked, but I definitely cost myself a lot. And this bear market, just being here and researching and having that shift of, okay, this stuff is going to be here to stay. Let's figure out which ones have the better chance and then go from there. So you just kind of break it down across each ecosystem, and the cream of the crop, you can find it if you put the time in. And also having, good people like yourself and other TA people. I'm not a chart guy. I don't have the time to do it. It's important to know someone that does it, and having your network is your net worth. And that's one thing that I'm grateful for, is having super smart people that I can go to ask questions, and it's really beneficial. And
Yeah,
bro,
to say
I'm
the least,
just so
man.
excited.
Yeah, man, I feel you there. Like, well, just the other day, like I was like, I'd already bought Injective, been investing into it, and so then it was like, well, I'm ready to get into the actual ecosystem at this point. And so I just hit up one of my buddies on Twitter that, like, it's not like I know him personally; it's just like people on Twitter that you're friends with, and just asked him some questions because I know that he's been part of the ecosystem, and he sends me everything I need. I know exactly which DEX, which wallet, which bridge, how to use it. And then it was just always so much easier to do that. And then he gave me a list of his favorite tokens, why he liked them. All of that type of stuff is so important because for me, it's like once you get in, this is going to be 2025 will be my 9th year in crypto, and seeing all of these cycles play out. I didn't have the network that I have now, and I'm thankful to the last cycle towards like giving me that. But like I've met so many good people like yourself that I know have really spent a lot of time researching. And I've always liked your perspective because I mean you're the one who got me the Pulse Chain hat. So you're the one that like I was first talking to when I came over to Pulse Chain. And so like you're one of the only people I've met over there that's actually really invested in researching, like not just over here, but pretty much across the board. And that's where I think people find a lot of value, is the people that are more willing to kind of research into new areas that most people don't discover. That's where the real gems are in the value. And so, I think that when things really take off, the fact that we've been sitting here for 2 years, 3 years, I've been holding stuff for even longer than that. But having the conviction to hold through all of this, get to the point where everything breaks out, because I mean, you've been around the cycles long enough to know when Bitcoin goes into a new all-time high, the amount of profit that's generated in just that one move, it's the biggest of the cycle. But you really get to realize that by being early, holding through all the crap when it's not making you any money, when it's only going down. The amount of times I've held on to a 60, 70% loss to see that thing, I mean, even more than that at times, only to see it go up well over 1,000% and beyond. It just happens too many times. And so that's why you kind of have to just have that conviction around what's going on. Because, if you're early and you're in the good stuff, you're going to make a lot of money in this bull run.
100%, dude. And now it's like people get so short-sighted and focused on this short-term noise. And like you said, when you've been around, I've been holding XRP since 2020 now. And I'm riding that thing to zero, or it's going where it's going. Mm-hmm. But you got to have that conviction with all the stuff you hold. And I kind of say, like, I have my plan A, my plan B, my plan C, and then my emergency plan D. So if all fails, somewhere you won along the lines. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just when you start to see certain relationships made, certain partnerships, and information is out there, it's just very hard to find. And the guys that are doing this stuff, the crypto banters and the guys that have hundreds of thousands of followers, they're getting paid to shill stuff that half of them don't probably even care about. Like, I do this because I love it. And nobody really wants to hear, buy a coin and just sit and do nothing for a year, 2 years, set yourself for everything now is, how do I buy a meme coin, get rich overnight, and then cash out? People they just want to know what coin, when do I buy, when do I sell? And it's like, that mentality will get you wrecked. It's impossible. I don't know anybody except Gugat in this chat that actually trades leverage and wins. He's the only person I've ever met that literally has been trading and wins consistently. Everyone else I know eventually gets destroyed, and they lose a little bit and then start chasing more. They increase the leverage and it's over. Mm-hmm. And it's just being early, having conviction, and just being around people that will tell you, yes, you're doing the right thing. Don't listen to the herd. Like, people agree, what Michael Saylor and these guys are telling you, Bitcoin's going to trillions of dollars. You really believe that? Or you think there's something else potentially in the side that could overtake it and become bigger than Bitcoin someday. I mean, I think the whole market is manipulated. Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think they're propped up. I think that they're not going to last more than another cycle, maybe. After this cycle, I don't think Bitcoin's in the top 10 anymore. I think once it loses number one, it's no longer digital gold. It's a race to the bottom. And the amount of power it uses when you could be using all that power to train AI with these UPOW, useful proof of work, that's the future. And it just makes sense to me. And, the media is always lying, right? So why would you believe them that Bitcoin is the one? Bitcoin is the future. So I'm just hesitant about it. But I get how important it has been. But when's the last time you sent anyone Bitcoin?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've used the Bitcoin chain here just recently to buy an NFT, because I was looking like CryptoPunks in the last cycle, they hit 400K price floor. Everybody thinks NFTs are dead. Most NFTs are dead. Most of them are garbage. Like, I mean, even the good ones are garbage. You look at CryptoPunks, they're really silly. And I know that you don't get into speculative money a lot, but I was using the Bitcoin chain because I was buying a node monkey on Bitcoin, which are the first 10K collection on the Bitcoin chain. So that was like me getting positioned for the potentiality of that being the next CryptoPunks on Bitcoin. But man, dude, I tried to buy it, and then it looked like there was 2 transactions happening on the NFT marketplace, and it was confusing me because I didn't know what was happening. And then it took legit like 45 minutes before it went through, and it finally went through, but like it wasn't showing in my wallet after a little while, and I was like nervous, and I was like, just the typical stuff that happens when you're trying to mess around with any of these chains for the most part. But yeah, like it really is slow. And Ethereum, if anybody uses Ethereum to try and trade DeFi, you kind of have to be wealthy. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed with the gas fees. The average person at the top of this next cycle, they're going to be having to pay hundreds of dollars just for a gas fee. And nobody can do that. So realistically, when we're looking at what Bitcoin is, when we're looking at what Ethereum is from face value, they're really not that great. But the issue with what we've seen historically is because Bitcoin was the first and has that, backing, I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere. And I think that if Bitcoin were to die, everything else pretty much dies with it. But I don't think that that's the case at all with Ethereum. Like for me at this point, using other blockchains, it's almost like inevitable that we use something other than Ethereum, because Ethereum, they make upgrades constantly, but it doesn't really do that much. And so it's also just not as efficient of a blockchain versus many of the other options out there. So I think that there's definitely a possibility where we see a huge rotation take place, leaving Ethereum and going into other systems. But I don't think that Ethereum is going to die this cycle. I think it'll still have a good bull run because it's one of the only cryptos that institutions have the liquidity to truly be able to buy. So, those are reasons why I think this cycle will have the same old kind of taking off and doing their thing. There's going to be a lot of new projects as well. But if we're talking about like a cycle after this, it's at that point that I really can't say what happens, because I think we're going to be treading in completely new territory, because this is the institutional cycle. If you look at the valuation of a market cycle, it's once the institutions get in, that's pretty much where you see the complete blow off top, big market cycle type of thing. And I don't believe that institutions are here to just pump the markets and never sell. I believe that they're here to use, us and retail investors as exit liquidity. So I don't know what the next bear market looks like, other than I believe that it's the worst one we're ever going to have. But I especially don't know what the next cycle looks like. And it could definitely do unique things. The last 10 years of Bitcoin cycles have been exactly the same. 3 years up, 1 year down to the day, 4 years apart, every bear market bottom, if you analyze it. It's been it's like a mirror every single time. This cycle, or this next cycle, I think is going to probably change from that trend. And it'll be a brand new type of environment where only the real valuable projects, the Amazons, the Googles, the Apples, what we've seen in the stock market, after the internet bubble, most of the stocks died. But the ones that were able to provide value and create a sustainable product, they obviously continue to just run for the next 25 years. So I think that we could see something similar with crypto. And that's why you kind of have to be aware and do your own due diligence about what those projects are actually going to be, because most of them are not going to stick around throughout the entirety of that next bear market, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you nailed it 100%. Is nobody knows what's happening 2 years from now. This I almost feel like with what's happening, we are being constantly everything's delayed. Everything is so slow. We were supposed to have all the ISO standards, our digital IDs, the Fed Now stuff. It was all
Right.
supposed to be live and up and
Yeah,
running by now. They
exactly.
just keep pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. So I almost think this has almost bought us another extra cycle of
Mhm.
kind of the gray area. What if no one knows what's going on? I was listening to a stream the other day that it's not going to be until like 2026 that exchanges have to report your where the wallets that you sent your money to. So right now you can go on an exchange and send money wherever you want. They don't really report where you're sending it to. There's no mandates. There's no one actually chasing after that.
Right.
So we're until that happens, like it's just a wild, wild west. And with AI coming, like yeah, nobody can predict the future. It's going to be super interesting how it plays out, and I'm just excited for a fair shot. I feel like Bitcoin and Ethereum are number 1 and 2. Yeah, they're great, but they've also I think it hasn't been a fair fight. I think they've been kind of favored in a sense and given those spots, but that's how the world works. It is what it is. But that can't sustain the tech that's coming out here now. These new blockchains that are so much faster, they're so much better. I think we're at that point where it's I don't know how this plays out, but there's going to be that turning point where utility starts to change everything. Because I think with tokenization, when you have real estate or you have cars, you have jewelry, all these stuff, bonds, mutual funds, all the stuff when it's tokenized and you bring it on chain, what happens when all of a sudden whatever chain has a couple $1 trillion of tokenized securities on it, and then Stellar has, they're issuing debt on the Stellar blockchain. So now when you have trillions of dollars actually on chain, how are they going to value these cryptos? Like it's going to be just a different world.
That's a
And
funny
I
thought, man.
think
Like, I've not heard many people bring up that exact, like, thought process because basically we're literally competing against the dollar and fiat currencies. Most fiat currencies are at the ending of their 100-year cycles, which is historically how long the average fiat currency lasts before it collapses. In the greatest of empires, if you go all the way back to the 1500s when fiat was developed, I think it was the Spanish that developed it initially. But if you look at the beginning of fiat, it basically runs anywhere from like 80 to like 90 to 110 years, and then it collapses. And so we're right at the same point. In fact, the dollar is like peaking even into that 100-year point. So we're already like at the point of no return. We can see that with the Fed. We see it with everything around us. So we really are at the point where we're going to start seeing that shift where fiat currencies, once the dollar collapses, I mean, it's a domino effect. All of the other ones are equally in as much debt to each other as what the dollar is. And the dollar is the liquidity layer. So the second the dollar fails, all of the other ones are going to fail with it. And at that point, we're in a brand new environment, like you said, where how are we going to value these crypto prices or the crypto assets when the underlying technology does so many different unique things? It's like a multi-tool of money rather than just being like a medium for transfer and exchange. And that's what's interesting is like, how are we going to value this stuff? What are we going to peg it to? What is going to be the next currency, so to speak? And it's really exciting because there's not a lot of people that are, thinking that far ahead. And I haven't heard many people bring up that exact thought, like you just said. And so I thought it was kind of interesting because there is going to be that point where we're going to have to value these things in completely different ways that we've never done before. And what does that actually look like? It's so hard to even like try and conceptualize it. Like we really have no idea. We're in completely new territory right now.
well, yeah, exactly. And what I love is what Richard Hart is doing with Pete I. It's kind of
Right.
a way to
Hmm.
think, okay, the dollar at its core is the problem. So how do we get this stable coin and back it with assets on chain that aren't the dollar? And I just think if I know pretty much that the CBDCs are Circle, USDC, they are Tether, PayPal's dollar, all of them. They can shut the keys down at any point for your wallet so you can't use them. That is not a true stable coin. So people are fearing the CBDC. Oh, they're going to program my money. I'm not going to be able to spend it. No, that's here right now. Welcome to USDC.
Yeah.
So what people don't understand that yet. It's good. People are going to slowly understand it, and they're going to look for, okay, where's the actual real stable coin that I can use and not be shut down? And the only one I know of is PDI. And if this can get the backing, the assets under, and we could fly under the radar, and dude, this could be like the biggest, one of the like game changers of crypto, because it's the complete opposite of what Ripple's rolling out with their real RLUSD and Circle. They're going to try to just squeeze Tether out now. It's happening in Europe. So Pulse Chain, bro, I think is one of the biggest. Like, I'm so bullish on it. I'm so excited because of the potential that it has for multiple reasons.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to PDI, when I first heard about it and first wrapped my head around the whole, like, what it was, it was like, I was so excited the night that I figured it out. I was like, oh my gosh, like, not even knowing, like, I still don't even know if it's real, truly. Like, it could just be a narrative that just does well in, ROI terms, and it never actually turns into anything. I'm not going to be surprised either way, but there is plenty to, like, validate that it's a good narrative to follow, because, like, there is a lot, like, it's not just a narrative in and of itself. Like, there is a lot that's kind of backing it to be what it is, projected to be. So when I'm thinking about PDI, if we were to have a true decentralized stablecoin, which only PDI could be, because when you're talking about how other stablecoins are created, they go through the same, venture capitalists that raise this amount of money, they get in at this price, and then they go and list it at $1. Everybody's up and, very profitable. So they're more or less just creating it out of thin air and then backing it through, these big investors and whatnot. The issue with that is the same centralized issues that plague a lot of stable coins. The only decentralized option would have to be PDI, because the way that it's growing is, organic. It's going to rise in price as people are speculating on the idea of it going to $1 and one day being pegged. If it were to, gain enough market share to go up to 90 cents, 80 cents, at that point, somebody like Richard Hart, who's the biggest DAI holder, could easily make that peg type of thing happen if he actually had a maker to support it. So when you're talking about all of these things, it's highly speculative. But at the same time, if it were to be true and PDI was the very first truly decentralized stablecoin, I mean, it's the one stable that there's no central focus that you could, like, shut it down with. I mean, it's just the holders themselves. So, I mean, you could go after the maker, I guess, but if you develop a decentralized system, you can't just shut it down. And that's the beauty of, blockchain as a whole. So I think that if PDI is a real thing, man, it is the most life-changing opportunity in crypto. It's the best narrative you could follow. And it's just, like, hard to wrap your head around how amazing of an opportunity it actually is if it's true. I still don't know if it's going to be true or not, which is, like, why I think it's, highly speculative. But if it were true, it's probably the most valuable thing to come out of any bull run ever since, like, Ethereum, or, like, since, some of this underlying technology that allowed us to do stuff. You know what I mean?
100%, bro. And I can't say 100% it's Richard Hart, but the stuff on chain, certain things with interacting with the maker contract, on a day before the Pulse chain launched, like, clearly there was some correlation there. Richard has done so much with maker. They're now pretty much, I think they're getting rid of the maker token, or forking it and basically making it like Pulse Chain's tokenomics. So it's like 0.0000 of a penny per coin. So they're following what Richard's done. And I heard that they tried this and they already pegged all of the what would be PRC20s on Gnosis chain. So it was like a test that happened. I don't know exactly what, but it was done over there, and the stable coin was up and running and it was good to go. It was doing everything it was supposed to. I don't know if, like, what's really going on, but there's just, where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. And when you see the stuff happening on chain, Richard is the biggest holder of DAI in the world. I think he has 15% of the supply. Like, he he could do so much more than we could even comprehend. And I think this lawsuit has really, I saw what happened to Ripple last cycle. I mean, just the devastating effect. People will say, "Oh no, it didn't matter. It was Ripple dumping." No, it was a problem when people I talked to could not figure out how to buy XRP. They couldn't get it, so people are lazy and they're going to just say, "Oh, screw it, I'll buy something else." And so that really did affect it. And right now, Hex, you can't even buy it on Uniswap. Like, it's crazy to think that this is still going on CoinMarketCap. We're still buried on there. So this lawsuit, I really think, is going to end up helping Richard in the long run, and it'll kind of take that monkey off his back of he's a scammer, he's this, he's that. If he beats the SEC, gets dismissed, whatever. If Hester Pierce takes over or whatever happens, it can't get any worse than this. So, bro, like there's just so much happening in crypto. It's like everywhere we look, it's so bullish everywhere, and it's just a matter of time. You know, you got to just have conviction, hold through the noise and all the FUD that's out there, and everything will be just fine. You know, we so what do you think about Pulse launch? What's going on over there? I know we were in that early and they got some stuff in the pipeline, and I'm still super bullish on it. We need launch pads and we need a breath of fresh air and new stuff coming on to the Pulse chain.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, we got 2 projects in the pipeline that are going to launch. The thing with launch pads and like this is going to be universal because I work with like Ape Terminal. I've worked with Seedify, some of these other big launch pads that exist out there. And at the end of the day, nobody was launching any projects this entire correction, because if you're trying to have a project succeed, you can't have liquidity leaving the market, or you're guaranteed to, you know, create your liquidity pool, pair it with Ethereum, pair it with Pulse Chain, pair it with whatever you want. And then if we're in a correction and everything's going down, your token that you just launched is going to go down by default. So when it comes to launch pads, the biggest thing is always timing. And we've just been waiting to launch these 2 projects for when the market was starting to actually flip bullish, like pretty much where we're at right now. And so they've already been in development for months at this point. Everybody's already been working on them. And at this point, we're finally ready to start releasing those, which will also, you know, we've got the airdrop as well that's going to happen with the DAO token that people just kind of forget about. You know, once the platform's already working and has been working, no issues. Once we can release the DAO token and get some projects actually going, I mean, I think it's just inevitable that the hype's going to come back. We just, you know, had to go through this entire correction, and it doesn't make sense to launch projects if they're only going to go down and maybe not even succeed. So that's kind of been the whole premise over the last 6 months was, well, you know, we can't control what the market does, but we can just go out and build what we want. And then when the market flips, we can release them. So in a way, it's been kind of good, because the other alternative would have just been, well, the market's going up, let's launch this project and then start building it, rather than we've just done the opposite. So we got those 2 projects coming up that I'm really excited about. And then that's going to kind of get the ball rolling, in my opinion.
100%, bro. And I saw it with people that I know. They were trying to, in the bear market this past year, they would add liquidity, start a new pair up, and boom, you were just instant exit liquidity. And it just gets like disheartening. It gets frustrating. And why just, you know, burn money like that? And if people can't understand that, you know, you're going to get it. It's crypto. People are going to instantly just put out FUD or, just for some nonsense reason. But you're right. If there's building there, the right people are behind the scenes, they know what they're doing. You have a really powerful company that has experience. Nothing's came out yet. Like, how you going to judge a product? They haven't even launched anything yet. So the timing has to be right. And I think the flood is going to come. I mean, Pulse Chain in general. I mean, I think we finally bottomed. Oh yeah, we got a nice pump today, up 10%. I think, you know, the bottom is very close from here. I don't think we go much further, but it's almost all the Love.io is another project I really like on Pulse Chain. They have such a cool marketplace. Like, it's a really cool project, but the same thing. It's just people just crush these charts where any value can be extracted. These guys are just dumping every chart, and it kind of sucks to see, but you know what? You got to hold. These are where you have to hold through. This is what makes 100x. These are the pains you have to go through if you want 100x bag. It's not just, oh, I buy a bag, it pumps up, and I'm rich overnight. Like, that shit does not happen. Any new person that went to Solana, pumped out fun. Are these things looking to get rich on meme coins? Let me know how many of them actually made money versus how many bought whitelist honeypots or some kind of rug pull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that with Pulse Chain especially, like it just had so much FUD in this entire correction that so many people ended up just exiting the ecosystem. And I think that in general, where it's at, Pulse Chain grows more. And I mean, it's actually today, it's up more, or it was last time I checked, it was up more in TVL than literally every chain in crypto the last month, even more than SUI and SEI, who were the two leaders up to this point. So seeing Pulse Chain constantly being in that leaderboard, Pulse Chain has really good TVL. That's what people don't realize. Like it's actually got consistent TVL. And at the peak of that last run, we were actually running into the top 10 of TVL. So I do believe that once we get out of this correction, Pulse Chain is going to pump super, super hard. PulseX, Inc., Hex, all of the whole ecosystem is going to run really hard. And we're going to see Pulse Chain just continuously creep up more and more into those top 10 rankings. I really do think that it is a top 10 TVL chain by the end of the cycle. Top 5, I don't know. That's like, there's so many good chains out there that it's just so hard to be able to say. But top 10 is still so phenomenal, in my opinion, that if you're able to be early to an ecosystem that ultimately pulls a top 10 in TVL throughout the cycle, I mean, the gains made from being early to whichever projects you've invested in are massive. PTGC is a perfect example of this, one that I've told everybody about for a long time. It was just, one of those charts that has perfect like the combination of perfect tokenomics, because this thing's just been running so freaking hard this entire move. Oh yeah, and that's against Pulse too, so it even looks crazier.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And like it's been almost a year. It's like October 12th or 14th when I found it on stream, just going through Deck Screener, being a degen. I was like, oh look, PTGC, the golf course coin, I'm buying it. And I just bought it randomly. And it was like down in here, bro. And you think like, oh my God, this thing just pumped up 40x. And this is where we are right now. And if you come back and you look like this, you can't even see this on a chart once you start getting back to where we are up here. Like that was like, and it's crazy to where we've come and to see what this is going to do. And when Pulse Chain actually starts going up, like that's going to be wild to see. And Alien and Anki, shout out to Gugad and 808, all the
pull up the Anki chart. They commented under my post today.
Yeah, Anki, that's Alien and Gugad. Gugad's project. Alien and Anki are his too. Where is it on the chart here? There we go. There. But it's rewards. So you get just for holding it, you get back PTGC, Teddy Bear
ecosystem.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
what are the
it's just holding it.
Like? Go to a daily.
It bottom. I literally bought the bottom like 3 weeks ago, bro. Or like I bought at 2100. It was like right here. Like literally this kid, it was like me right here. One of these green ones. And
well, all right, you big whale. Careful
bro,
not to shake your tail too hard.
My $800 pumped that up.
For real though. See, that's the fun. Okay, so that's the reason why I've actually been buying meme coins, because like I never was anybody that was big on meme coins at all. I was always against them. The only reason I have been lately is because when you're looking at what is the most fair opportunity in crypto, it doesn't really get any more fair than a meme coin. And what I like about a lot of new projects that launch on like some of the earliest projects that launch on a new chain, sometimes they have really good tokenomics where it's a lot more fair for the average person, and it doesn't even have to be a meme coin. The issue with so many projects today is you've got, VCs, the VCs will come in as an angel investor, raise up the first however millions of dollars. Then they'll go to a secondary raise with the same people, if not more, and then they'll raise more money there. And then they'll finally hit like the KOLs and the influencers and all of that stuff. So by the time you're getting by the time you're buying it, the fully diluted valuation is so high and the market cap is high at the same time, you're guaranteed to get dumped on the whole way up as you're buying it. So when you're looking at new tokens launching and even meme coins, they're launching with total circulating supply. All of the coins are circulating. There are no unlocks that are going to happen. There aren't any of these things. And even though it's not like unlocks are the most evil thing, because Solana had unlocks in the last cycle and it still outperformed, it is at least a metric to watch. And I think that the reason this cycle is so fun is we have new chains emerging. It's kind of like 2017 where Ethereum came on board. Oh, wow, we have a way to trade cryptos on chain. And that was what caused that whole cycle. This cycle, we've got hundreds of Ethereums and they all have their own ecosystem. So as long as there's liquidity to trade, we're going to have the opportunity of getting early into these projects that have good tokenomics that can run super, super hard in value. And, you know, we can do this on multiple chains at the same time, which is why I've always made the comparison that this cycle will be like 2017, because we really do have like 100 different Ethereums that we can go and invest into the ecosystem. And we've already seen what happens with Pulse Chain and some of the better performing altcoins here. It's going to happen universally across the board. It's just a domino effect when new liquidity enters the market.
Bingo. And we're so used to all these other projects that have launched. They really weren't fair launches, or all the supply is not out. Like these coins have done that, and they are hyper deflationary.
Yeah.
It's really, we have never seen this before all across a Pulse chain, the stuff with Titan X. And I'm sure you're seeing new stuff on chains when you go over to Injective or to Sui or Rever. You know, it's the future is bright. And bro, like Titan X is what right now is where all of the gravy is at right now. I mean, what's happening here is what Pulse Chain should have been. Like it's what Pulse Chain could have been if they took the approach. If you build on Pulse Chain, awesome, you're a good person. Instead, if you build on Pulse Chain, you're diluting the core for. Why would you do that? You're a scammer. You're taking value. So there's just this nonstop back and forth fighting, arguing, where on Titan X, oh, you're building on top. We all support you. There is no fighting. And bro, this is, I'm telling you, there's just something different about this ecosystem. And if I don't know how much you know about it or not, but it's a year old now almost. It launched October 28th, I believe, last year. So almost a year old. And now we have 12 projects that have launched on top of Titan X. Every one of them, the goal of them is to take more Titan X off the market by staking it, burning it, all these other protocols. And there's now another 11 in the pipeline to come. And a couple of them I'm super interested in already is the Element 280, because this ecosystem is going to have so many coins. You're not going to be able to keep track of them all. Element 280, what he's doing is making 14 liquidity pairs with all of the tokens. And then you can buy an NFT that is a 4% tax on it. So every time one's bought or sold or tokens, you get reward holders as NFT holder, or you get rewards for as an NFT holder. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm buying one and I'm going to hold it for 6 years. Like that's my exposure to this coin in the ecosystem. I don't have to take any risk, and I just earn constantly for however long. Passive income. I love it. You know, Volt just launched 8 days ago. This ecosystem has absolutely, or this coin has crushed it. So what he did is there's 10 days of auctions, and today's day 10. On day 1, I think I did a billion or 400 million Titan X, and I got back maybe 100,000 coins. And on day 10 now, to get back 100,000, you'd have to probably do like a billion. It'll be way less than this, but this coin, the supply comes out. They're all out tomorrow, and he's already almost burned almost 12% of the supply, and it's still in auction. So tomorrow the supply's out, and then 20% of this treasure vault is available in auctions, and 20% a day gets auctioned out until it's gone. So within like a 30-day period, the coins are going to be all out, distributed, and start becoming hyper deflationary. And this thing, like the chart, I mean, look, this thing has been out for like a week, and it's done pretty freaking good, considering it took Titan X to do this like almost a year to bottom out and start to come back up. So they're figuring out ways to launch a coin and make it hyper deflationary, either with you using ETH to mint it, but all of these ones you're using Titan X or Dragon X to mint these coins. It's really cool.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah, see, you were telling me a little bit about it earlier when we were just in the green room or whatever. And it definitely seems like a really solid ecosystem, because like that's one of the things with this cycle is finding tokens with really good tokenomics that are super highly deflationary. It's amazing. I mean, we saw kind of what happened with Hex in the last cycle when so much of the supply is just, not available to trade, and then you have all of these people buying at the same time. The prices can get ballooned really crazy. So if you have a huge burn on top of all of that, it's the same effect where you just have insane upside potential and the ability to just make way more money than anything else, especially if there's no massive unlocks and VCs that are going to dump on your head the whole way up. It's the most fair type of ecosystem you could participate.
Dude, and it really is. So the founder, Steve, he was on stream maybe a week and a half ago, and he's the nicest guy, and he was in Jake's mastermind for a couple years, just learning. And now, fast forward, this is the second project he's been involved in. He was on the Inferno team, and that is up like I think it did a 25 or 30x already against Titan X. So these coins are coming out and outperforming Titan X hard. Then you can just rotate back, and it's like it's very little risk, and it's awesome, bro. So there's Morpheus is coming out in a couple weeks. That it's community run, but we're trying to bridge Pulse Chain and Titan X. Like these guys that hate Titan X, like why are you doing this? So Rags to Riches is going to do a stream, I think, and in the future, hopefully with Jake or Eric, and ask the tough questions, get the haters on Pulse Chain to drill these guys with hard questions. That'll be a good thing to do. And I'm involved with this, Facing Reality, Rags to Riches. Goo God's been helping out with this. So we're just trying to figure out a way to get Pulse Chain and Titan X bridged together. And the Element 280 founder, the coin I was telling you about, that's kind of the NFT that you just get exposure to basically the whole ecosystem. He's got a project called Janus on Pulse Chain where he's doing the same thing. Basically, if you have a project on Pulse Chain and you send him coins, he'll match the LP on the other side. So he just wants to create as many LP pairs as possible. So just incentivizing people to come and build. And it's just something that you really don't see that often. And what this coin has, these projects have done already off the rip. I mean, it's crazy to see. Hyper and Hydra. Hydra is one of the ones that I have a lot into now. I did max miners on day one because Titan X, the short-term miners were very profitable at the beginning. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do 2 short terms and 2 longer ones. And sure enough, the short-term ones I got wrecked on. I'm down like 60% on right now, but I'm just holding it. So, and over time, it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. The long-term ones will make up for it. But that was really the short-term Hydra miner was the only one that I was really upside down on. All the Volt ones were profitable. I mean, everything so far in this ecosystem is just printing, bro. And it's about to get hyper deflationary as the supply. If you do an analytics, Mike Dean is his name. He's got an awesome site here that he's put together of all the stats, but you could just kind of see that October here in another month or two. I mean, the amount of supply coming out just falls off a cliff. And that's when miners, they were no longer profitable. So, the Titan X future supply, I mean, look at this. It drops off a cliff. Wow. So around Christmas time, we're going to have another 30 projects launched on top with no inflation coming out. So it's like uncharted territories. It's kind of like the next bull run. No one really knows what it's going to look like. No one knows what the hell is going to happen here because we've never seen this before. But we just know it's special. And on chain, the proof is there.
So what's the best way to participate if somebody was new trying to get into the ecosystem?
Right now, I would just buy Titan X. You could probably do a miner too. A long-term miner if you're long-term thinking, because you could probably get you can get 463 million for $400. I don't know what that would get market buying right now, but I just know it. Yeah, it's okay. So it's minus, you're losing 36% right now, but in another 6 months, I mean, these go for 280 days. So this is what I did at the beginning, and I did 2 ETH, and it got me 10 miners, and it was like 25 billion coins. And wow. To buy that to do that now, you would have to, I'd have to do so much more. But during that first 280 days, it was tough. It was like, did we do the right thing? Should I have done more short-term miners? Is Titan X going to be profitable? Because now nobody was doing miners in the middle of it. And then Dragon X launched, and then Helios launched, and then Hyper launched, and all these projects. Once that happened, it was like that flywheel that started happening, and the coin has just bottomed out. But what if I had zero access or exposure, I would create a max miner in Hydra. This is Jake Sharp and Eric, the Dragon X founder. It's their project. I would do a Hydra miner. I would buy some Dragon or Titan X, and then I would get into Volt. I really think this is going to a couple dollars, bro. This thing is special. Like, it's done this in a week, and all the coins are out now. Like, this is during the inflation when all the coins are coming out. So this shit is just different. I don't even know what's going on, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, Steve has some alien technology here. I don't know what he's doing, but bro, this thing started out with $5,000 in liquidity. So the Legend X was an NFT that came out a month or two ago, and Jared from Subway Bot made off with $110,000 from the community on the launch, just sniped the shit out of it. So moving forward, they're trying to figure out ways to launch that's not going to get a ton of value extracted from the community. So he put 5K in liquidity here, and I think 8% was auto add to the LP. So now within 10 days, he has 2.9 million in the liquidity. Wow. So from 5K to 2.9 million in 10 days. It's crazy, bro.
That's way crazy.
Yeah. So Volt, I think you could still actually maybe do an auction. Yeah, you can. There's one more day left. That's right. So today's the worst day, but if I have my bags, I'm good. I did auctions from day 1 to like 6, and the first 2 days it was barely profitable. So I swapped back my Titan X from Volt, and then day 3 I claimed my coins. I forgot to swap them. Woke up the next morning and the thing was up 300% instantly. So all of a sudden it was just massively in profit. I was like, holy shit, what is going on here? So this ecosystem, I would definitely look into Volt, definitely look into Titan X. I think a Hydra miner is a really good thing. And then upcoming, I said that Element 280, that NFT, I think is good, gives you exposure to everything. There's different levels too. You can get a 10 billion Titan X1 billion or 100 million. I think so. There's multiple of them, but the Titan farms, 1 billion Titan X, 10 billion Titan X, or 100 million Titan X. I think, let's see, Titan X 1 billion is $900 right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm probably going to do that. I can't afford to do the 10. I would love to do the 10 billion one if I could, but I just don't. I don't have it like that. But there's one for smaller people. But the Titan farms here, this is going to be crazy right here. This is going to be, just Jake's launching this one, so having huge LPs with all the projects.
Yeah.
Giving the rewards it's like the ink, Titans Inc. basically.
Right.
I love it. And then a stable coin coming. So
you just participate. Are they like pre-sales or what? Well, what is?
They're all different.
Yeah. What's the other one you're talking about down below?
So Hydra.
No,
the
Titan
Element 280.
Well,
yeah. Titan
Element 280s is an NFT, so you'll mint the NFT.
Yep.
And then what about
they have a coin too? You could do either or. So you can day 1, you can swap your Titan X and get the actual coin or the NFT. So I'm going to go the NFT route because of the rewards for that. But you could also get coins day 1. But the Titan farms, it's not working. But yeah, there's the Telegram is here. I don't know how much. I haven't really been paying attention to that. I know it's coming in the next couple of weeks, but that's gonna provide LP pairs for all of the coins basically, so that are coming. So as long as I think 30% is paired with Titan X, you can get into the farms. So people are gonna want to come put their coins in there and earn that, the ink of this ecosystem.
Yeah.
but I'm not sure how I don't know how the launch is going to go for that. But most of them you have to either buy Titan X and use that to mint these coins. Some of them are Dragon X, but you could just on Uniswap, swap ETH for any of them. But this TitanXHub.com, yeah, everyone is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they're all on ETH and on Uniswap. Yep. But TitanXHub.com, this is the website to go to. Right here. It's got everything listed out, and they're adding stuff to this. Like you can click the website, the links, the white papers. Like this is getting added to like every day. There's new stuff on here. The charts are right here. Wow, they're even putting a link to the new decks coming. I think this is awesome. Really cool. But only 16,000 users, so it's still so new.
Yeah, tiny. Well, that's where the money to be made is, by being early to the ecosystems. Is you want to be one of the first people there. You just make so much more profit that way. And I mean, that's really, once everything starts to run, all the gains have been squeezed out, unless there's just a lot more development. But you always want to be there early if you can.
Exactly, dude. And that's where there's going to be 100+ projects coming. I mean, this is 23. So like the sky is so bright. The future's so bright for this ecosystem. It's made so everybody can win, and it's not just one person making everything and the whole community like chewing on scraps. Like every coin has been a fair launch, first principles. Nothing has came out where there's been any pre-sales or any ICOs, nothing. All fair launches, all community. It's real DeFi, bro. Like it's just disappointing that like Pulse Chain isn't supporting this. Like Pulse Chain and Titan X should be like hand in hand, like pulling each other up, but instead we're arguing and fighting, and it's just a shame.
Yeah, true. See, that's the thing I've noticed is there was just like all this like people hating on Titan X from the Pulse Chain community, and so I didn't ever think anything of it. But I just looked at the chart and saw that it looked good, and I was like, oh, I wonder what the heck this thing is. And after you explaining the whole ecosystem, I could definitely see the whole value there. And with it being such a new ecosystem, I mean, that's really where you're going to be able to make the most value. So I'm definitely going to get involved with it.
Yeah, bro. And like the website's really cool. You can see all the stats and stuff on here of all the Titan X supply. I mean, only 30. This used to be like 33% liquid, and now it's down to under 30. And every day that we move forward, less and less, it inflates to where in 3 months from now, we're used to like trillions of coins coming out a day pretty much. And now we're going down to nothing, because after, I think it was like day 50 or so, day 60, around a couple months, the short-term miners stopped being profitable last year. So people started getting screwed. And there were months where maybe 1 or 2 miners were even made per day. Wow. So people just weren't mining at all. And it comes in. So we're never going to see inflation like we did this summer. So yeah, bro, I think this is going to really surprise people, but ultimately it's like setting the precedent for how to do things right.
I'll definitely have to look into it a little bit more whenever I have time, because I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah, bro, you definitely have to. I mean, at least just, get into just buy Titan. I mean, honestly, Titan X is all you need. Like the other coins are all leverage on them. They're all taking their times where they're outperforming against Titan X, but ultimately in the long run, like, see Volt had its huge run up, and now, it'll probably flatten out and then have another run up on these auctions. But, they'll probably will trend up into the right against Titan X, but I don't even know, honestly. They could come crashing down. But
yeah. Well, that's why it's just worth like get your investment into the native token that you think is going to for sure do good. And then playing the new releases, you really can't go wrong with that. Cause I mean, you can, if it opened and dumped, you obviously are going to be down on that. But I think that, getting in at that beginning stage, the amount of upside is just so much bigger. Cause if any of these run, you only have to win 33% of your trades to be able to be profitable. And so it kind of works a lot the same whenever you're just investing into random altcoins. They're not always going to work out, but if you get one that does a 50 to 100x, it doesn't even matter how much you just lost, because you've made back all of those losses and then some.
Yeah. So Inferno was what came out, the meme coin. I mean, look how hard this ran against Titan X. I mean, up at the top here. I mean, it they all pretty much have done this. Baby Dragon X. I mean, all of them have had their times where they shut up hard, and obviously people take advantage of it and sell back down. But there's now Alien X with Goo God and the Verse. They're launching that on top, and I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I'd imagine similar to all the other coins, where just an aggressive buy and burn with a mint period with Titan X. And bro, it's so cool to see this. And we're doing Morpheus. That's going to come out hopefully this month, but the same thing, like 80% of it goes to, or 20% gets sent right to the buy and burn immediately. And then of the other 72%, or of the 80%, 72% is swap for Dragon X, some 8% auto LP, 20% is burnt, and then 52% is buy and burn of Morpheus. So it's just different ways. What's worked with Inferno, what's worked with Dragon X, what worked with Volt. Okay, that worked. All right, let's do all that and put this together. And it seems like all these different groups of friends or whatever communities are giving it their shots. And what's awesome is Jake is there for everybody. Like if you have questions, you need help, you want to start a project, like he will answer anybody. Like he truly is here. And it's so cool to see a founder that is doing that versus like, you know, I'm too good for anyone. You can't, you know, you can't get a hold of me. It's the polar opposite, bro. It's so refreshing.
That's what's up. So is Morpheus already out?
No, it's coming out in a couple weeks. And Rags to Riches, he's got a new company called, I think it's buildthetech.com, like helping with Web3 websites, you know, all that stuff. So his company is really helping put this stuff together with the website and all the back end stuff. So it's coming along really cool. I think with the whole the Matrix is coming too. I don't know if it's up here, but that's a new coin that is coming. So all these coins are like Matrix and Morpheus and Alien X. They're so memeable. And I don't know, the green circles, you just see it all over Twitter. Like they catch your eyes, even the YouTube chats, the little green circles, like it works. Just the little things that he's done. Yeah, Matrix is, coming soon. So yeah, I love it, bro. The Matrix, the future is near. Matrix X is in early development. So dude, there's just so much happening. So many good people all have the same goal. Burn Titan X, win together, build together.
Word. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to have to dive into it myself, I think.
Yeah, dude, I think you'll be very surprised and kind of thinking, everyone says it. This is what Pulse Chain should have been and hopefully will be. Instead of this toxicity, tribalism, all fighting. Like, look at the charts. If you just put 5% into Titan X, you'd be happy at the bottom. Or just switch, whatever it is. So many new projects coming that have opportunity. It's just like when you have one coin that goes up and you have green candles on your phone or your wherever you're looking, it just makes you feel good. You can overlook the negative stuff. You see one green candle, you're like, all right, something's pumping today, versus, oh God, everything's red. And you just take it out on Twitter and it's everyone else's fault.
For real, though. It's hard, man. Going through a 6-month correction's got everybody at their throats, it seems like. You've seen a lot of that over the last 6 months. And we're finally at the point where everything's shifted and is going to go back up and people are going to no longer be so upset with each other. And that's really, I mean, the next year is just going to be so insane for crypto. Like, I don't see any way in which you can't. I mean, you're going to win if you just take a little bit of time to do a little bit of research, be early to a couple ecosystems, pick some of the top projects on them. Because like the amount of upside we're going to see this entire bull market is just going to be insane. And so the best thing you could do is just pretty much focus on this one, because assume this is the last good bull market you're ever going to have. And, you know, even if it's not, at least you've made as much as you possibly can, because I think that this is going to be the really big one that you want to make all of your, you know, right decisions. You want to put your investments in the right places, because once we see everything take off, it's going to generate the most life-changing amounts of wealth that we've ever seen. And it's going to be bigger than any market we've ever had up to this point. So you kind of owe it to yourself to get invested, especially with how crazy times are right now. Everything in the world's changing. The best thing that you could do is kind of adapt with it. And I don't see a better opportunity than crypto right now.
No, me neither, bro. And yeah, I don't see the market jumping. Let me say we go right now from 2 trillion to 8 to 10 trillion. I don't know if the next bull market will be a 4 to 5x of the market size.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
maybe be a 2x
Yeah,
or so, and then it'll be kind of steadier growth. I mean, and once these stuff is tokenized, real estate's tokenized, debt, all the money, everything is on chain. That money's going to be there. It's not leaving.
hmm,
So I don't. Yeah, we're in the right place at the right time, and we're going to be here. And oh, you were lucky. Oh, you guys were so lucky. No, we weren't lucky. You weren't
yeah,
here during all the pain. We were just happened to be able to see what was coming, and hopefully put our money into the right bags,
yeah.
which I think we have. But you got to have a plan B and a plan C, and just anything can happen.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the name of the game in crypto. No, man, I think that, I think we're positioned in the right places, and I think we'll both make a good amount of money this cycle, and it's going to be fun. I'm probably going to end up coming to New York in like the next couple weeks and see, not couple weeks, but sometime in the next few months and seeing my girlfriend that lives out there. And so it'd be awesome to be able to actually connect with you. I'll let you know when that's actually
Mhm.
going to be, and then we could meet up and maybe do some, make some content together. That'd be cool. But either way, man, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure. Always appreciate talking to you. You're one of the few people that's got a open perspective of across the board on a lot of different, assets. And I always value that. I know that my subscribers, the people that watch me, value that. So it's always a great opportunity to come and do these with you, my friend.
Yeah, bro, appreciate it, and I'd love to do that. Let me know when you're doing it, and it's a good excuse to make a trip.
Yeah, for sure. Amen. I'll keep you posted for sure.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate it. And guys, if you're not following Donovan, his socials are down in the description, his YouTube and his Twitter. I've been watching his videos for, man, it's probably been like 4 years now. I think I found your channel like 2020. Because you find
Yeah.
someone that's good with TA, you stick with it. Like,
Hmm.
and that, so you've been the person, you and Chris from the Verse, the guys I go to for like the TA. And when I need a good dose of bullishness, I know where to go. So follow Donovan. He's definitely knows what he's talking about. He's got a good group. So appreciate you, my man. We'll see you on the next one.
Sounds good. I